As horrible as the murder of Stephen Sotloff was, and indeed it was, we mustn't forget that thousands of people have been slaughtered in the region, most of them locals who couldn't escape if they wanted to leave. But what does the latest outrage change, and how will the West react? Middle East expert Daniel Pipes joins us from Philadelphia. What were these murderers trying to achieve, and have they actually achieved anything?
They tried to achieve two things: to attract Muslim support and to instill fear in non-Muslims and infidels. No, I don't think they've done very well. Yes, they've attracted some support, but among Muslims there's a lot of outrage and anger rather than support. And among non-Muslims, I don't see intimidation. I see a lot of resolve and anger. And anger, anger is the common denominator here. Yeah. ISIS is widely reviled and hated and feared.
Yeah. That does seem to be the case. Now, both the President and the Vice President in the past 24 hours have spoken on this. Let's see a brief clip, please.
So the bottom line is this. Our objective is clear, and that is to degrade and destroy ISIL so that it's no longer a threat, not just to Iraq, but also to the region and to the United States.
As a nation, we're united. And when people harm Americans, we don't retreat. We don't forget. We take care of those who are grieving, and when that's finished, they should know we will follow them to the gates of hell until they are brought to justice.
Well, they're fighting words, particularly from the Vice President, but what will actually happen?
Given this administration, not much. Great words, but think if this were Mitt Romney or John McCain, it would make a lot more of an impression on me, and I think on ISIS and around the world, than if it's Barack Obama and Joe Biden. We've seen so many times that they have threatened, in particular in Syria just a year ago, where they threatened and nothing came of it. So I'm skeptical, and I think most people are. And if they're really serious this time, they're going to have to prove themselves. And not just prove themselves with a single shot, a single attack, but through consistent resolve by strengthening the U.S. military forces and much more. It's a major project.
It's an extremely important time for American foreign policy, because if we look in the region, the governments in Baghdad and Damascus obviously want to destroy ISIS. The Saudis do, the Iranians certainly do, the Turks do. They know the United States has to be involved. They're looking to Washington for some sort of decision. I'm not sure if they're going to see very much that's effective.
No, I don't think so either, not based on the past record. And so what's happening is that the local actors are having to do more, which, by the way, is not entirely a bad thing. I mean, historically, the United States government has been the adult, and the others have been able to just relax because Uncle Sam will take care of it. Not now. Now, I rue that. I wish that weren't the case, but there is a silver lining, and it affects Canada, it affects Saudi Arabia, it affects many, many countries. I think, well, we've got to do things ourselves. The Canadian government has historically not taken security measures that seriously because the United States would take care of it. Now you, the Saudis, and so many others, the Turks, the Europeans, Japanese, around the world have to look at these matters more seriously. And that, actually, speaking as an American, I'm rather pleased about.
I see that point, and it's a genuine one. But within the region itself, my fear is that Iran, which does have a large military, and it is motivated and capable, and particularly hates ISIS, that if they become too influential, they're going to come out of this as being, well, I suppose, but it's simply the good guys, and I don't want that to happen.
Well, I hate to be too optimistic about this, but I'm quite cheerful at the prospect of these monstrous ISIS characters fighting the monstrous mullahs. I mean, sort of like Hitler and Stalin, go at it. Now, there's enormous damage that will be done by this, and our goal, I think, should be to help those, as we did, for example, in the case of the Yazidis. We should help those who are in danger. But if they want to fight each other, we should not get in their way.
The Iraqi government and the coalition...
You sound skeptical.
Well, no, I understand that. And this is a region where we can't be too delicate in our diplomacy and morality. And when we are, we're going to lose very badly. But Iraq and Syria are both effectively divided countries now. But Iraq in particular, it is volatile. It is dangerous. Is any of Iraq, as a state and republic, remember, based around Baghdad, is it going to survive?
I think there will be 3 Iraqs. A Kurdish Iraq, a Sunni Iraq, and a Shiite Iraq.
Right.
I think that's better for Iraqis. I think it's better for us. I mean, there's less of a chance of a Saddam Hussein. Same thing goes for Syria. A Kurdish Syria, a Sunni Syria, a Shiite or quasi-Shiite Syria. And by the way, the news today is that there are now 2 Libyas. And that's okay with me, too. These are less dangerous states when they're smaller and they're more ethnically based and they're less ambitious on the world stage. And should the same thing happen in Iran, which is a mini empire, that would be fine by me too.
I think that would be fine with a lot of people. Harder to achieve, but if it did, it would satisfy many. And Turkey, which is always looking on the... I mean, people have to remember that Turkey has a nostalgia for the Ottoman Empire. It doesn't look to the Arab world, I believe, with love and affection, but with the Muslim people who they want to dominate. It does have ambitions. Has the ISIS and caliphate situation emboldened Turkey, weakened Turkey, confused Turkey?
Well, the Turks made this possible by providing all sorts of aid and allowing volunteers to go through Turkey and hospital services and so forth. So the Turks are very much responsible for the phenomenon of ISIS, which they're not so happy about now. In the first place, 49 of their diplomatic corps in Mosul, in Iraq, are in the hands of ISIS. And so they're being very careful. Secondly, they've got this strong revolutionary state on their border. I think they're moving away from that support. But it is likely, I think in the long term, to make the Turks more sober about their ambitions in the Middle East. The new prime minister is only a few days now, Ahmed Davutoglu, was the foreign minister, and his calling card was ambitions in the Middle East, and not quite re-establishing the Ottoman Empire, but re-establishing the networks and the influence and the regional stature of Turkey. Right. Well, all that looks quite different now.
It does,
quite different indeed.
Whatever region it is. As always, Daniel, such a great pleasure. Thank you very much indeed.